longtime fans of Marvel have noticed that there's been a problem with it since the events of Endgame. And me personally, I felt like that would have been a satisfying conclusion to the whole MCU, but they wanted to continue making movies and TV shows, and everything since then just felt like it was kind of aimless. And we've seen that in this article from Screen Rant. They're talking about it, where we're getting diminishing box office returns. Audience scores are decreasing for this. There hasn't been any characters, despite Phase 4 basically being them either handing off the mantle to someone else or reestablishing new characters. And yeah, I mean, it just hasn't picked up like it did in the first and second phases of the whole MCU. And then, yeah, part of the being aimless is there hasn't been anyone that can hold a candle to Thanos. I mean, yeah, they're trying to set up Kang the Conqueror as the next big villain of it, but so far he kind of hasn't really had that much of an impact. I mean, he was in Loki season 1 where he's killed off, and then he's also, again, a different iteration of him in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania where he's killed off again. I mean, if he's supposed to be established as the next big villain of the franchise, it really doesn't help that he consistently loses. I mean, he loses to Ant-Man alone, never mind the Avengers. So I don't really see how he can or at least he doesn't seem very threatening in my opinion. But now we're seeing stuff like this where the TV shows are also failing. We got the Marvels, which is predicted to be another flop. And I think they're understanding this over at Marvel. And that's why we get stuff like this where Kevin Feige is basically telling them to reboot Daredevil Born Again, or basically reboot it again after seeing half the footage that they shot and saying like, okay, we're going to fire the writers and directors and then basically start over from scratch because what they've been doing isn't working, which I think is a good move on their part to try to understand like, okay, this isn't working. We need to try to correct course. And I think they're also going to start doing that with the movies as well, at least if this new rumor is to be believed. We got this coming from Can We Get Some Toast, which is a scooper who has a pretty good track record of getting these early predictions. But this is what he has to say on Twitter. Kevin Feige has a plan to reboot the MCU with Avengers Secret Wars. We have a quote from Kevin Feige sort of implying that like Secret Wars will serve as a soft reboot in which they can prune everything. That's not to use a Lokiism, prune everything that's not working and just keep what is working, or bring back people you thought were gone forever. And one of the comments that stuck out to me was this person asking about bringing back these actors for these characters. And this is what he had to say. Honestly, the reboot is just a way to recast all the actors who cost more than Marvel can afford. Like you points out, Robert Downey Jr. cost $10 million for 8 minutes in Homecoming because he was a big star at the time. And I think this is a good methodology if this is what they're going to do like sort of a reboot. I mean, I don't think it's necessary to have a big event thing like this to do a reboot, because you can just kind of treat the characters as like James Bond does, where you just have Robert Downey Jr. play Tony Stark for a while, and then you just recast them. I mean, Marvel has shown that they're willing to recast people. I mean, Mark Ruffalo took over for Edward Norton as the Hulk. You got Don Cheadle take over for Terrence Howard as Rhodey. So you can recast characters and audiences will be fine with that. And I think it would be better received if you were to recast a character to play Tony Stark versus to try to find some other character to replace him, like Riri Williams is supposed to replace him as Ironheart, which is their new their new Iron Man, and it just doesn't work like that. I mean, just imagine instead of Falcon replacing Captain America, you just have a different actor playing the part of Captain America. Anthony Mackie still plays Falcon, and then eventually you get someone else to replace Anthony Mackie once he wants to move on to something else. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you don't need to have these big grandiose events, but also this rumor from Scooper, Can We Get Some Toast, is also kind of echoed with the previous prediction he made a few weeks ago. And this is reported by Comic Book Resources. Secret Wars acts as a send-off to the pre-MCU Marvel movies. And subheadline, a new rumor states that Avengers Endgame will conclude both the MCU and Marvel Legacy film. I think this means Secret Wars here. They put Endgame. But anyway, Marvel Legacy film franchises ahead of a line-wide reboot. Scrolling down into the article, this is what it had to say. Avengers Secret War will reportedly serve as an epic conclusion to not only the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but also every Marvel movie that was released outside of the shared universe. According to a trusted scooper, Can We Get Some Toast on X, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has decided to make Secret Wars a send-off to not only the current MCU, but all the Marvel movies that came before Iron Man. It's the ultimate soft reboot. Scooper also states that This is to make way for something all new and all different, which is a reference to the branding Marvel Comics used between 2015 to 2019 for their lineup of comic books that were set after 2015 to 2016 Secret Wars crossover event. So having Secret Wars be kind of the catalyst for rebooting their franchise, I think is a fine idea. But like I was saying before, I don't think you necessarily need to do that. What they probably could do is kind of have Secret Wars conclude, and then the next phase, you just start bringing in different teamed up and different characters. You don't pay attention to these old ones. You don't have to kill them off or bring back any new ones just yet. What you do is you have Secret Wars, and then the next phase, it's all just different characters. It almost feels like it's a complete separate thing, a complete reboot, where you have like some of their new teams that they're bringing in, like you got the Fantastic Four, you got the X-Men sort of thing. You have those characters, you establish maybe some other characters within almost this separate universe sort of thing. And then you can start bringing in some of the older characters like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, but you have them recast with different actors, and you don't have to establish their origin stories or anything because we got their origin stories in this, and they can just kind of move on from there. I think that would be the best way to go. And if they are serious about trying to do kind of shift course and kind of make the movies like they used to within the phase 1 and phase 2 era, they can save Marvel, but I don't know if that's what they're going to do. And that's also assuming that these rumors of a reboot are to be believed. But like I said before, these are rumors, so you can take it with a pinch of salt. But what do you think about all this in the comment section below? Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.